better offensive line, way better defense, ton of wide receivers, and arguably the best running back in the National Football League on that team too. Deshaun Watson. Deshaun. Again, this is one of those things where I'm going to take politics completely out of this conversation because I don't think it does anybody good when we talk about it. I know the situation that he got himself in was serious. I'm not excusing that. But what I am saying is that we keep an open mind to what he's going to do on the football field. And I don't think some of the hate that he got towards the last year, I mean, he wasn't completely trash. So let's just throw that out there too. He's not complete trash. The 2020 season, do y'all remember who won the MVP that year? We just talked about him. Aaron Rodgers. Now that you know this information, we're going to compare Aaron Rodgers to Deshaun Watson real quick. What happened in 2020 before he sat out? In 2020, the Packers were 13-3. They were 13-3 for 3 years straight. The latter 2 years of being 13-3 for 3 years straight, he had one MVP. 2020, Aaron Rodgers had a 70.7 completion percentage, 4,299 yards, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Let's be fair to the ground game here. He also had 101 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. So dude had 51 touchdowns that year. Deshaun Watson in 2020, a 70.2 completion percentage, which is only 0.5 points behind Aaron Rodgers, 4,823 yards, which is about 500 more yards, 33 touchdowns to Aaron Rodgers, 48, 7 interceptions. But if you want to combine touchdowns, Deshaun Watson had 444 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. So he had more yards, but less touchdowns. So he had 36 touchdowns that year versus Aaron Rodgers' 51. 13-3 was Aaron Rodgers' team. 4-12 with Deshaun Watson's team. Or you can argue and probably say that if Deshaun Watson was on a better team, if Deshaun Watson was on the better team and had a better defense and had better weapons around him, he could have been the MVP that year. And I'm sure he would have put up 51 plus touchdowns. But the fact that this man had more yardage tells you, I think that's more of a tell of the story there than anything else. Less yards probably means, actually, let's look at his attempts. 526 attempts for Aaron Rodgers, 544 attempts for Deshaun Watson. $90 rushes versus Aaron Rodgers, 38 rushes. So it sounds like Deshaun Watson was giving his team every possible opportunity to score the ball, but also was probably on the field way more than Aaron Rodgers because his defense sucked. Deshaun Watson's going to be back on his money this year. I'm willing to bet that. Who wants to put a bet up? People don't get it, man. A full year in this system with the better roster, Deshaun is about to go so crazy, man. Do we need to go through the roster again? Let's go through the roster one more time so people understand how nutty the Browns are about to be. Nick Chubb, running back. His wide receiving core goes as follows. Amari Cooper, Cedric Tillman, remember we were talking about him earlier, Jalen Darton, Elijah Moore, Marquise Goodwin, Jakeem Grant, Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Bell, David Njoku, in the offensive line with Jedrick Wills, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, and Jack Conklin, and Ethan Pochich. We don't even need to get into that defense. Better offensive line, way better defense, ton of wide receivers, and arguably the best running back in the National Football League on that team too. Kevin Stefanski got to a playoff with Baker Mayfield. Y'all remember that when Baker Mayfield won that game? Actually, I don't even think he was at that game. I think he had like a family emergency or something like that. And they still won. Facts. Deshaun is going to be back in the conversation as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Where's Tony at? Let's make the bet with him, man. So Deshaun Watson's going to be good, man. Let's go to some of those defensive players real quick, just because I want to. Myles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson, that they just got from the Vikings. Darius Smith, who they just got from the Vikings. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, a.k.a. J.O.K. Anthony Walker, Denzel Ward, Grant Delpit, Rodney McLeod, Juan Thornhill, Greg Newsom. And they're going to have Jakeem Grant taking punts and kicks with Cade York as their kicker. Yeah. They're going to be like John Wick. Yeah. I'm thinking I'm back. That's what Deshaun Watson's going to say. Think about how you feel about him personally. But let's just remember that brain didn't go nowhere. It's a mental game when you get to the NFL. The dude's only 27 years old. And if you don't think the redemption arc for Deshaun Watson's coming with everything that he had to beat through, regardless of how you feel about it, it is what it is. Hey, I got 12K on my George Pickens video. Anyways, we're gonna look more of the Deshaun Watson doing this. Exactly. The Clemson mindset is back, baby.